Alright, welcome back. In this video we're going to do landscaping real quick, just to cover a few pointers. We should be able to get them all within 1 to 2 videos here. As you can see, I already have a terrain in my level that I've been working on for the last tutorial series that I did. If you need to know anything about respawning, save checkpoints, pickups, health bar systems, ammo counts, reloading, anything of that nature, opening levels, please see my previous tutorial series. I do have it listed up here under my channel. You can get to it fairly easy. In this one we're going to cover, like I said, landscaping. As you can see here, I already have a landscape on the level here, but to create a landscape, we just go up here to modes, we select landscape, or you select your landscape thing here, alright, and then you would get a nice big old green box here. Alright. In fact, let's go ahead and just select this and delete that out. We'll just make a our own nice little terrain here real quick. So we're going to select terrain, and you can see here we get this nice little box. Now mine's already predefined because it's just going off of the settings that I had a minute ago when I made the terrain. But normally it's always going to be in a box. So it's always going to be 8 by 8, 10 by 10, 16 by 16, whatever. You would set the size here. You do section size. So say I want it to be 15 by 15. So there's a 15 by 15 section. Alright, you count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that 8 is because if you look here under number of components, we want an 8 by 8 block. Each one of these blocks is a component. Okay? But within that component, if you were to look, and we'll slide on over here because here's a nice little component. The component is the light green. Okay? Inside of that box, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Alright, now that's our section size, 15 by 15. So each one of these components is 15 by 15. If you wanted them to be 31 by 31, you would notice we still have the 8. So there's 4 there and 4 there. But it's gotten bigger because we've changed our quads. But we don't want that for this particular tutorial video, so we're just going to drop it back down to 15 by 15. Okay? And actually for this particular video we're going to go 7 by 7 because it doesn't have to be very big. Just want it to be presentable. Let me just get up here. Alright, so you can see my base level there, my little zone. We want to make this terrain go from one side of this to the other. Now, you have here under number of components, and I showed this a second ago, 8 by 8, so we have 8 blocks one way, 8 blocks the other. But I don't want it to be 8 by 8 because I actually have a rectangle. Now, the arrows here, X and Y. This first number is your X. Okay? So if you select this and I type in 16, now remember, I've already done math on this, so I know how big my terrain needs to be. So I have 16 on the X and 8 on the Y. Now there will never be a Z because we do that through the sculpt tool, which we'll get into here in a minute. So this looks pretty good from this perspective. Let's look at it from the top. Alright, you can see my wireframe there, the light blue. And we're looking pretty good there. Let's check from the side. I want my terrain to be bottom of these boxes here. Okay? And that looks pretty good there. Okay. So now we can go back to terrain mode. We're going to go ahead and hit create. Okay. So now we have the terrain, and it's just nothing but a simple flat base setup right now. So you would select the sculpt tool. And under the sculpt tool we have several different things. We can show different types of erosion from the sun, from the water. We can do a little bit of noise, which if you select that and you, let me get a bigger brush size here. There we go. And you run that, you can actually see the terrain kind of just poking up a little bit. You see it kind of a little rough and all right through here. Okay. You also have different things. You have the sculpt tool, which if you just mouse over it, you can see we have mountains growing here. If you hold the control key, it still goes up, but if you hold the shift key, it'll actually go down and you can actually sink it into the ground some. So you can kind of do like that, and then if you get lined up with it, you can see that our terrain actually goes downward. And you can build a body of water this way or whatever you would want to. Okay. You also have smooth, which it'll kind of smooth it out, make it nice and flush, not so rough, not so rigid and all. And holding control and shift does nothing different there. You have flatten. Now flatten works in a weird way. Okay, you can either take and, like, let's say we want to re-level off the entire thing. So you could select a section and then, well, like as if you were doing anything else with the terrain, you would just hold the left mouse button over the area you select and then move the brush wherever you want to level it off. And now our terrain is back to normal. You can do the same thing. If we go back to sculpt here, we put this down in the ground a little bit and go back to flatten. Now let's say I want to raise it to this point, but I only want to raise a small section of it. You can see the terrain is actually adjusting to that spot, and it is actually flat in that area where we ran the brush. Okay. Now from the one spot to the other, it's not. It's got a lip on it to where you can roll down it, slide down it, walk down it, whatever the case may be for whatever you may want to do with your character or with your game. You can do that through there. The other thing that we have is we have a ramp. Now ramp works in a weird way. Okay. We actually have to choose two locations. So like we have a location on the top and a location on the bottom. Okay. And you see this nice little white box right here, and then you see a bigger box on the outside. Alright. The outside section there, that's the fall off. Alright. This inside section is the width of the ramp. So if you look over here on your side, you see ramp width is 2,000 in our case. So let's actually drop it down to, I want my ramp to be 1,000. Not 100, 1,000. My apologies. Okay. I still want my fall off to be 0.4. Okay. And then we have to make sure that it's on the ground, which, as we can see here, we are nice and on the ground. We're nice and on the ground there. And then now you would hit add ramp. It would automatically adjust the terrain around it to add the ramp into there. So now we have that nice little ramp that goes from the top where we started to the bottom where we ended. Okay, and now let's say we want to put another one right here, and wherever you click, it's going to take that location, and that's where it's going to start the ramp at. And then put the other end of the ramp way over there. Okay. Right, it's going off of the first spot you clicked. So like if you wanted to change it, you would just hit reset to start a new ramp, and let's say we want to put it here and let it autosave. And I want to put it on top of this wall. Let's see if I can do that. No, I can't. So I'll put it on the terrain right below in front of the wall, and then I can actually drag it with the up arrow. Up arrow. I can drag it up and slide it over. Get it lined up with the wall there because I kind of want it top of the wall. And then I would add the ramp there, and the terrain has adjusted again to account for the new ramp, and it goes all the way up. The ramp will go all the way to the outside of this box here. So if you wanted the ramp to come a little further and actually go up to the corner of this, for example, then you would have to drag out the box to where it goes all the way beyond where you're wanting it to go. That way the whole ramp is actually going where you want it. The ramp will go from this point, so this line right here, all the way down to this line right here, you see here, that this marker here is attached to. And that's how you would add the ramps in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and reset that. The other thing that we have is the retopologize. Okay, and what we get here is hold on. I'm I'm not sure what we got going on there. It's doing something, but I'm not 100% sure. Well, I'm not 100% sure what that one does, so I apologize for that misinformation. And then visibility would actually come with a painting, with the painting stuff, and we'll get into that in a minute. But you would actually create a different kind of material, which would allow you to, when you painted the visibility of it, you would actually not see that particular section of the terrain. So like if you want to cut out a cave opening or something of that nature, you could then do it. But you know, you got erosion here, and you can't really see it right now because the brush strength is a little off. But you can kind of see the erosion effect in there. And then if you have like rain erosion, you can see how I'm lowering it down by holding the shift key and the control key. And you can see it being lowered. See, it's kind of lowered down now. And it's all runoff. It's a nice steady slope, you know, just like rain, like the erosion of rain would do to something over time. So those are your basic sculpting tools for the terrain. You would be able to make it however you wanted to, sculpt it however you wanted, and all. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to create a material for this terrain. We're going to make two of them, one for the base painting and one for the ability to do the invisibility, so I can show both of those off. So I will see you in the next video.